I'm eating a lot of protein and vegetables and walking. That's what I'm doing. We're approaching the 200-pound mark.
There was a time when Jelly Roll was immediately identifiable. Tattooed face, large build, raspy voice, and the kind of presence that bellowed unapologetically real. Fans knew him as the man who plastered his pain across his forehead, taking every difficult moment and turning it into a song that struck squarely in the heart. But then it changed. One day he was somewhere, on stage, on video, at an event, and people were shocked. It was still him, but something was different. The voice remained the same, and the tattoos were all still present, but his energy had changed. He looked different. He felt different. Everyone who had trailed behind him from the underground rap scene to the country music limelight sensed it. Was it a physical change? A mental change? His music? Nobody was quite sure how it happened, but one thing was certain. Jelly Roll was no longer the same man. Career beginnings. Jelly Roll, born Jason DeFord, was raised in Nashville, Tennessee's Antioch neighborhood. His childhood wasn't the greatest. His father sold meat and operated a bookmaking business, and his mother struggled with mental illness and addiction. At age 14, Jelly Roll had been baptized, but that same year, he was arrested as well. That time began a decade-long cycle of in and out of jail. He was charged with numerous things. In prison, however, he managed to turn the corner, obtaining his GED at age 23. Jelly Roll began his career in hip-hop, taking cues from Southern rap icons 3 6 Mafia and UGK. He started selling mixtapes out of his vehicle and released his debut project, The Plain Schmear Tape, in 2003. From 2004 to 2011, he released The Gamblin' on a White Boy mixtape series. In 2010, he collaborated with Lil White on the song Pop Another Pill, which went viral on YouTube with more than 6 million hits. That success catapulted the group SNO. Years went by, and Jelly Roll continued to release mixtapes and albums, working with artists such as Struggle Jennings, Haystack, and Tech N9N. His one tape was initially titled Whiskey, Weed, and Waffle House, but Waffle House sent a cease and desist letter, so he retitled it Whiskey, Weed, and Women, and marked a cease and desist on the cover just for fun. In November 2021, Jelly Roll performed for the first time at the Grand Ole Opry, and in 2022, Craig Morgan had him return to perform Almost Home. In that same year, he reached his first rock radio #1 with Dead Man Walking. By 2023, his country single, Son of a Sinner, went to #1 and made waves on a number of charts. He also sold out Nashville's Bridgestone Arena that year and picked up several CMT awards. His 9th studio album, Whitsit Chapel, was released in June 2023. He continued to ride strong in 2024, taking home CMA's New Artist of the Year award, addressing Congress about the risks of fentanyl, being featured in Eminem's music video, performing on Saturday Night Live, and even having a guest spot on Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone. In 2025, he teamed up with Christian artist Brandon Lake and won a K-Love Award for Hard Fought Hallelujah. He also featured on Shaboozie's hit track Amen, From Where I've Been, Isn't Where I'm Going. From rap battles to the Grand Ole Opry, Jelly Roll's journey is proof that second chances are real, and sometimes they lead to the biggest stages in the world. Marriage and family. Underneath Jelly Roll's rough exterior and gritty sound is a man who craves love and family. He's been married to Alyssa DeFord, known widely by her social media's handle BunnyXO, since 2016. The relationship that they share is anything but typical. It's raw, honest, and founded on decades of growth and learning together. When the two first met, both Jelly Roll and Bunny were emerging from tough spots in life. But somehow, they found solace and endurance in one another. Their relationship was not one of being perfect. It was one of being there for each other in all things. As the years went by, they weren't merely husband and wife, but actual partners in life. In 2023, 7 years after their marriage, the couple exchanged their wedding vows again, testifying that their love had grown stronger. It was a gorgeous moment that spoke to how far they've come and how dedicated they are to their future together. Jelly Roll consistently speaks about how much Bunny has improved his life. She's been with him for the highs of his career and the lows of his personal life, and she's taken him under her wing to help mold him into the man he is today. Behind the scenes or by his side on red carpets, Bunny has been there, encouraging him, supporting him, and keeping him grounded. Family is everything to Jelly Roll, and that's particularly evident when it comes to his children. He has 2 children from past relationships, a daughter who shares a full-time home with him and Bunny, and a son, whom he discusses more in private. Jelly Roll and Bunny share full custody of their daughter, and they're raising her together with tons of love, patience, and empathy. Although Jelly Roll does not reveal a lot about his children online, it is clear how much they are loved by him. His path as a father has been difficult, heaven knows, with his previous battles, but he has been honest about how his daughter was a main reason he chose to turn his life around. Becoming a dad gave him another drive and showed him that he had something authentic to fight for. Ultimately, Jelly Roll's home life is never about being famous or trying to be flashy. It's about healing, becoming, and being present for the people who care most about him. Despite the highs and lows, his family has been his grounding rod, and it pays off. Finding faith. Jelly Roll's life has been filled with surprises, but perhaps one of the most inspiring aspects of his life has been his comeback to religion. For years, religion was just not on his radar. To the contrary, he felt distant from it. Having endured a rough childhood, addiction, prison time, and numerous personal demons, it is no wonder that his relationship with God had disintegrated. Church to him was more of judgment than love, and he avoided it for a very long time. But then something shifted when he was 39 years old. It wasn't anything he intended. It began with his daughter, who was 14 years old. She approached him and told him she wanted to be baptized. His initial response was complete incredulity. Jelly Roll now says jokingly, "I should go see what kind of cult she's going to," because that's how he perceived religion at that point. Something foreign, perhaps even a little odd. But when he did decide to accompany her to the church, something surprising occurred. Seated there, observing his daughter with her friends, he felt neither judged nor uneasy. Rather, he felt something authentic. He claimed he was reminded of what matters: kindness, compassion, forgiveness, and community. It wasn't about rules or being perfect. It was about love and being human. That day initiated a subtle but profound transformation in Jelly Roll. In a 2025 interview, he described it himself best. "I might wear it a little different than other people, but ultimately, I have a heart for God, and I have a heart for Jesus." To him, being faithful didn't involve altering his self. It involved reconnecting with something greater than himself. It involved mending old hurts, being more gracious, and being a better man than he aspired to be. What makes Jelly Roll's faith renewal so compelling is that it wasn't a result of pressure. It was a result of love. Seeing his daughter find her faith led him back to something he hadn't even realized he needed. And now, faith is yet another key element of his renovation, not only in body or music, but deep within his soul. Speaking out in the U.S. Senate, Jelly Roll has played some of the world's largest stages, but in 2024, he took a different stage, the United States Senate, not to play a concert or accept an award. He was there to testify from his heart, not only as an artist, but as one who had been through the darkest aspects of the opioid epidemic. He testified before the Senate Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs in support of Senator Tim Scott's Fend Off Fentanyl Act. The goal of this bill is to fight back against the growing fentanyl problem in America, a crisis that has taken countless lives and continues to destroy families every day. Jelly Roll knew he had something important to say because he had once been part of that problem. His speech was raw, honest, and emotionally deep. He did not sugarcoat his history. He stood before the lawmakers and stated, "I brought my community down. I hurt people. I was the uneducated man in the kitchen playing chemist with drugs I knew absolutely nothing about." He talked about the errors he made during his youth, mixing drugs, selling substances, and inadvertently jeopardizing lives. He showed that he bore much regret, but perhaps more significantly, he bore a need to assist in rectifying that which he once assisted in destroying. What was so compelling about his testimony was how authentic it was. He wasn't memorizing words from a script or attempting to be polished. He was simply being himself, honest, open, and passionate. He informed the senators that he wished to be part of the solution immediately, to assist in stopping fentanyl from killing more lives the way it had killed so many in his area. That day in the Senate indicated how much further Jelly Roll has grown. He's no longer merely a recovered addict or a man with a checkered past. He's evolved into a voice for change, speaking out on behalf of those who are still suffering. Few artists transform their suffering into purpose as he has. By getting up before legislators and telling his story, Jelly Roll showed that change is possible, and sometimes it can change everything. his past troubles and incarcerations. Well before Jelly Roll was a household name in the music industry, his life was riddled with serious run-ins with the law. Had his first experience with the prison system at the age of 14. That initial arrest marked the beginning of a long and trying period in his life, where he was going back and forth to jail for roughly a decade. Throughout his adolescence and early 20s, he was arrested for multiple crimes, some of which were quite serious, such as armed robbery, burglary, and possession of drugs. In a very intimate interview on the Jay Shetty podcast, Jelly Roll admitted to committing armed robbery at 15, and it's something that continues to trouble him to this day. He explained how impulsive and careless his actions were at the time, stating, "There was no logic to what I did." He even felt the need to apologize one day to his victims, confessing that he never truly comprehended the effect of what he had done until years after the fact. His offenses weren't careless mistakes for a day. He committed drug-related offenses, such as possession with intent to distribute, which got him back to prison several times. During one of his interviews, Jelly Roll candidly confessed that at that time, he was having an extremely crazy, narcissistic, and selfish life. He wasn't only damaging himself, he was also doing actual harm to individuals around him and in society. During his years in jail, Jelly Roll was no stranger to lengthy periods of incarceration. His successive offenses saw him behind bars most of his late teens and early 20s. He's spoken about how being in jail almost became normal, something he expected, and something he couldn't envision a different way out of at the time. These were the years of violence, instability, and survival. Whether it was combining drugs without realizing the risk, or resorting to robberies in desperation and confusion, Jelly Roll's history is full of harsh realities that he does not attempt to conceal. It was a life filled with suffering, crime, and frequent jail time long before fame ever discovered him. Weight criticism and social media's bullying, Jelly Roll was hit by a torrent of body shaming that pushed him off social media in 2024. His wife, Bunny XO, revealed how continuous online insults about his weight got too much for him. She shared on her Dumb Blonde podcast, and later via TikTok, that Jelly Roll got off the internet because he is so tired of being bullied about his effing weight, adding, "It hurts him." Her raw vulnerability struck a chord. She emphasized that while people might think celebrities should just brush off insults, the truth is, no, the F were not. Page 6, The Independent, TMZ, and others verified the report. His sanity was more important than any desire to stay in the public eye on the internet. Page 6 detailed how much it hurt him, and how Bunny said he was the sweetest angel baby. The negativity had taken a real toll on him. Also shared on People, he had lost around 70 pounds training for a 5K. But even that was not enough to keep trolls from posting cruel comments. His fitness journey, running 2 to 3 miles most days and applying saunas and cold plunges, was initially a personal challenge, but the nasty comments were quick to overshadow the good strides. Eventually, the pressure led him to step away from Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, and other networks in April 2024. Even Flavor Flav himself and others defended Jelly Roll. A fan on Reddit posted, "One of the absolute nicest men on the planet, the internet can be so cruel." His ordeal was a harsh reminder that, however tough or successful a person is, social media bullying can cut deeply into one's psyche. Bunny's message is clear and loud. Everyone deserves kindness, and online bullying should never force anyone to go into hiding. Trademark lawsuit. Back in April 2024, a drama played out when a Pennsylvania wedding band by the name of Jelly Roll, one word, sued Jelly Roll, 2 words, the country singer born Jason DeFord. The wedding band, founded by Kurt Tichenel, has had the name since the 1980s and actually trademarked it in 2010 and later renewed the trademark in 2019. Their lawsuit, which they brought in federal court in Philadelphia on April 8th, alleged that they had priority over the name and that the pop bubble of the singer Jelly Roll was crowding them out, particularly on Google searches. Before the lawsuit, searching for Jelly Roll would most prominently show the wedding band. Afterward, it showed 18 to 20 references for the singer before any mention of a band. The suit also claimed that the singer's name was confusing to customers in the marketplace. They feared people would hire the wrong Jelly Roll for functions, damaging their business and reputation. Jelly Roll, the group, even cited the singer's criminal background as a factor that had reflected poorly upon them, stating his prior felony conviction and incarceration had resulted in further reputational damage. In the lawsuit, the band requested that a court order restrain Jason DeFord from performing using Jelly Roll, or any other similar name. Before going to court, they had sent a February cease and desist letter, but efforts to settle it amicably didn't succeed. But by July 2024, it took a different route. The wedding ring chose to voluntarily drop the lawsuit. They termed it as settled and stated that they were eager to keep on using their name. Although they suggested an amicable agreement, the court documents didn't reveal any official settlement. Jelly Roll's lawyers haven't commented so far. This short but fiery legal battle created buzz about name rights, branding, and how online presence can affect businesses. Even with Jelly Roll's huge popularity, the wedding band remained resolute in defending its name. And ultimately, both parties emerged, still retaining their names. Criticism of his music and image. Jelly Roll has won over a lot of people with his heart-wrenching storytelling and crossover appeal from hip-hop to country. Not everyone, however, is a fan. Critics, particularly on Reddit, frequently claim his popularity is more about emotional connection than musical creativity. On Our Unpopular Opinion, one commenter bluntly stated, "I feel like now he's just releasing music he knows will be a hit because he switched over to country as a genre. It just seems lazy and an easier way to make hits." This opinion exemplifies a wider criticism. Some think he consciously panders both to country and rap audiences with the intent of maximum commercial appeal rather than real creativity. In contrast, on Your Country Music Stuff, there are a couple of threads that point to the same issues. One person confessed to enjoying him as an individual but stated, "Couldn't agree more. Seems like a wonderful fella, I just cringe at rap country." Another was blunt. "He's a gimmick with a short shelf life. I think he could easily be a one and done." These are criticisms that present him as oversaturated, faulting him for playing his songs too much on the radio and in crossovers. One of them had this to say, "His music is just not good, and he has no talent in my opinion." Some users also stated that they felt his songs had recurring topics, heavy on personal suffering and redemption, but were not vocally refined nor rich in musicality. One user bluntly said, "The lyrics aren't very deep or complicated, and the music itself isn't creative or unique." Another appended, "All the songs kinda sound alike. Great story, but a little overrated IMO." There are even more scathing opinions on other sites. In All Our Music, one commentator posted, "The real offenders are turds like Jelly Roll who couldn't be cornier if he tried. He's like a redneck pit bull." Even with those strong words, not everybody feels this way. Some fans enjoy his raw honesty and emotional intensity, even if they don't adore his musical sense. His wealth. Jelly Roll has traveled far from his early days financially. Celebrity Net Worth puts his net worth at about $16 million as of mid-2025, a leap from some $1 million mere years ago. That spectacular increase is derived from numerous varied sources. Much of his revenue is generated from his tours and live performances. He has headlined huge strings such as the 2023 Backroad Baptism Tour and the Beautifully Broken Tour, and will be co-headlining stadiums with Post Malone in 2025. These shows regularly sell out stadiums and arenas, generating millions in ticket revenue. Music streaming and sales also generate steady income. His albums, such as Wits at Chapel and Beautifully Broken, have reached chart-topping. Wits at Chapel even started out at number 1 on the Billboard 200. His songs have accumulated more than 2 billion views on YouTube, earning him a minimum of $3.4 million merely on video revenue alone. On platforms such as Spotify and Pandora, he is said to earn more than $360,000 annually from Spotify and another $1.3 million on Pandora. In addition to music, Jelly Roll also generates a decent amount of money from merchandise, selling t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and other items at shows and online. Social media presence is another addition to the equation. His YouTube ads are profitable. Accounts claim he raked in around $2 million from YouTube in 1 year. With millions of fans on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, brand partnerships and sponsorships would probably contribute to increasing his earnings as well. He's also venturing into business. He reportedly started his own record label and invested in real estate, such as a house in Nashville, and even has a collection of luxury cars. All things considered, other sources conservatively estimate him at $12 million, based on his regular stream of income from streaming, touring, merchandise, YouTube, endorsement deals, and real estate. But the most reliable estimate $16 million coincides with his booming multi-platform revenues. In a nutshell, what began with mixtapes hawked out of a vehicle has grown into a colorful and thriving empire. Touring, streaming, merch, social media, brand tie-ins, and investments all contribute to Jelly Roll's bottom line. Evidence he's not merely keeping his head above water, he's doing well. The physical change that stunned everyone. Jelly Roll left fans completely agog with his dramatic weight loss transformation. Early in 2023, he committed to becoming healthier following several health scares. By April 2025, he broke the news in an interview on Jimmy Kimmel Live that he'd lost close to 200 pounds, weighing an estimated 357 pounds now, so much so that Kimmel quipped that he'd lost a 200-pound mark. Jelly Roll attributed the transformation to a plain combination of high-protein meals, vegetables, walks, and just eating clean overall. Previous to that, in 2024, he reached a milestone, losing 110 pounds by trading his former diet and vices for exercise, better nutrition, saunas, and cold plunges. He worked out every day, walking or running 2 to 3 miles most days, in addition to playing basketball and boxing on his tour, before finishing his first 5K in May 2024. By March 2025, there was another significant change. His wife, Bunny XO, even commented on new chest hair, a marker of how much his body was changing. He's spoken openly about being able to hike mountains now, which would not have been the case previously. And in late 2024, he informed his wife that he wanted to be on the cover of Men's Health by March 2026, vowing people he'd be unrecognizable. Fans and the media have overrun comment streams with shocked responses. Is that even him? It's more than a number. Facial features are sharper, his posture is straighter, and his overall energy has brightened. Bye-bye, big guy on stage smoking and sweating. He's still Jelly Roll, but he appears and behaves like an entirely new man. During interviews on The Bobby Bones Show, Taste of Country, and even Jimmy Kimmel Live, Jelly Roll reiterates that the ultimate objective isn't necessarily shedding pounds, it's living. He wants to skydive, bull ride, run marathons, and yes, even wrestle an alligator one day. Most inspiring is that he's remained true to himself. No shortcuts, no hype, just hard work, discipline, and the will to truly live. And as the photos demonstrate, it's a transformation that even takes everyone by surprise. Why Jelly Roll really transformed himself. Jelly Roll's change wasn't just physical, it was life or death. He shared on the Full Send podcast that he had a serious health crisis late in 2022 that woke him up. He came to understand that he couldn't continue living in the fast lane if he was going to live long enough to see his daughter grow up. That was the point of change. He speaks candidly of wanting to live longer for his daughter, and to finally match his words with the father he hopes to become. And in the same interview, he explained how coming onto stage once left him drained and concerned, but now he trains like a sportsman. He incorporated boxing, hiking, and long walks into his regimen, not exercises to impress, but to craft a life outside music. During his 2023 CMT Music Awards acceptance speech, he became teary-eyed and said to everyone, "I'm proof that you can change." He attributed the award to all those who required a second chance and heard the resounding cheers. This is for the underdogs. That was not a speech about music, about redemption and hope. Since then, social media was flooded with messages showing that his makeover touched lives outside his own. In short, the revelation wasn't merely one of a trimmer figure, it was one of a man taking back his future, not merely for himself, but for his loved ones and all shattered hearts holding on to hope. Jelly Roll's story is far from over, but it already reads like something out of a movie. He's gone from selling mixtapes out of a car to standing in front of thousands of cheering fans, and even testifying in the U.S. Senate. That's not something most people with his past ever get to say. What makes his journey truly special, though, is how real he's kept it. He never tried to hide the pain or pretend he had it all figured out. Instead, he used his music, his voice, and even his struggles to connect with people who felt like nobody understood them. He's not chasing perfection, he's chasing growth. Whether it's making music that hits you right in the gut, or choosing to walk a little further every day for his health, Jelly Roll keeps showing that change doesn't have to be flashy. It just has to be honest. And while he's earned the fame, the awards, and the millions of fans, what really sets him apart is his heart. He's a reminder that no matter where you come from, It's never too late to rewrite your story, as he continues to take on new challenges, whether it's in music, advocacy, or just becoming a better version of himself. One thing's for sure, Jelly Roll isn't slowing down anytime soon. He's living proof that the most powerful transformations don't just happen on the outside, they come from deep within. If you found Jelly Roll's incredible journey as inspiring as we did, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories just like this. We've got plenty more deep explorations, real-life transformations, and behind-the-scenes moments coming your way. So hit that bell icon too and stay in the loop. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.